Yo, what it do? This your boy Khaliq, and welcome to my studio.
And since the money ain't bringing back, the homies told my niggas always just stay loyal, balance, just stay hungry, bruh. Cause niggas only cool until they owe you something. Ain't sleeping by the week, fighting that battle of the strongest ones. Tell me who the hottest, fuck your options. I done kept it modest. Khaliq caught that body, then upgrade the chopper.
Welcome, Khaliq, to the Waterwave YouTube channel.
Yes, sir.
We are here in the studio with Khaliq. Man, how's life been?
Man, good, man. I'm a new father of my second baby. She's 3 months, about to go on 4. Just been chilling, having a lot of time to reflect with this whole quarantine thing that's going on, you know what I'm saying? So just reflecting, being with a lot of family, redirecting the game plan, saving, you know what I'm saying? Just trying to really just prepare for that next move, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, congratulations on your newborn baby. Is it a challenge to be a father and to try to keep up that rap grind?
Yeah, but it's also like, it's like the driving force, you know what I'm saying? Like, that I always know that I got a table to feed. I got a place to make sure that they're taken care of. And so I always feel like I'm always in drive mode. I'm always in like go mode, because I'm always worried about how I'm going to take care of my family. And I think that's the most important thing. So I feel like it's always a challenge, but life is about having a challenge. So I feel like I was put in this position to face it, you know what I'm saying?
Let's talk about the coming of age album. What was the inspiration behind that, like the artwork and the song choices? Cause I listened to it and it gave me like a Kanye and like a Kendrick type vibe. Like the beat selection, that was really good beat selection. I fucked with that album a lot. But what was like the inspiration behind the whole thing?
Really just like being in that position where I was just maturing as a man and understanding my responsibilities that I had to step into, you know. When I started the project, I don't think I knew I was having my second child. But like as it progressed, like my focus really got there, you know. And that project just stemmed from having conversations with different people, going through things, losing people, losing friends, understanding relationships. And that was just a whole combination of just me putting that expression of how now I'm going to transform into a better man for myself. So it was kind of just, at the beginning, you kind of go from me still being in pain, where towards the end, I feel like you start to realize, like, I see a different perspective, you know.
Do you where do you get your beats from? Do you make any beats?
I do, but like I'm still doing it and trying to perfect it myself to the point that like I don't necessarily like produce for other people. Like it's kind of like just producing for myself right now. But a lot of my beats come from my homies, man, like Andre, Tony, Ivan, Smokey, Dizzy, my homie Dom, who else? My homie Roland Brooks. I produced some notes on the project. Who else is on the project?
Juice WRLD. Not the producer.
Yeah, Juice WRLD was the only feature on there, and then yeah, man, I got a lot of homies, man. So if I forgot you, man, it's my bad. But I'm trying to think of everybody. But I work with a lot of people, man, you know, and it's just like I try to just. That was another part of the project too. Was like I'm normally like really secluded, and I'm normally like really by myself. I'm normally like in the studio by myself. I'm normally creating by myself. So like I wanted to kind of like go outside of my boundaries and collab more, and kind of just like really work with different people. And that kind of happened with the project. This is the first project I had this many producers on. Like I probably had like 7 or 8 maybe. And so it worked out though. The whole mood and the whole like cohesiveness of each track and the like transitions into each song was dope. So I feel like it worked out.
Yeah, you had Juice Lord was the only feature on that project.
Yeah.
Did you know that you wanted him on the project, or is that just you guys made that song and it felt fit for the project?
You want to know what's crazy is like me and him talk about it. It's this crazy story. So he came to the studio. We was working on some joint for him, and when he wrapped up, I'm like, yo, bro, I got this song that I was working on. I'm like, tell me what you think. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I played him the song, and as soon as I played him, he like, man, my homie, Ethan, that's another producer, Ethan Dietz. So then, the homie Ethan, he was like, Ethan sent me this beat too, but he sent it to me a long time ago. I never done that. I wrote to it, but I never recorded. So then I'm like, what you got to it? So he started spitting his verse, and his verse is the verse that was on the project. It was a little bit longer. We shortened it to just like fit the mood of what the direction we was going for, but it just all played out. Like, and it just worked and it meshed. So like, big ups to Juice Lord. It's just crazy how it worked out. That's how like sometimes I just know certain things are just kind of like meant to be. And we always talk about like, me and him done plenty of songs, but he had never done like nothing that was on my record where we put it out. And besides, like, he had did some interludes for me on like one of my first projects, The Other Side to 6'5". And yeah, after we did that, it was just like, man, this just meant to be, like, and it just felt good. Like, his lyrics was matching my lyrics without us even knowing. It was like the vibe was already there without us even being there. So it's like, it's just crazy.
Do you have a project for 2020 planned?
I wouldn't necessarily say, I mean, I got a lot of stuff planned. I got a lot of stuff up my sleeve, but I really just want to like build up on my content and try to like just like focus on building the content and finding a direction of how I want to get it to the people that need to hear it and that's gonna consume it. But I got some plans and stuff like that. I'm gonna keep dropping this Why Wednesdays and build up on my videos. Yeah, I feel like, man, I got a lot of songs out. I got to get more videos out, more visuals. People want to see that.
You want to explain to them what Why Wednesdays is?
So Why Wednesday is like this whole concept that I just came up with a long time ago that I was just like, man, I needed something that identified me. And I've always had a play on my name, Why, and I was like, I came up with this Why Wednesday thing where I wanted to drop all my music on Wednesdays, so like my fans and my audience knew that like that's when I drop
on Wednesdays. Like, you probably get a new Khaliq song.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, and how it first started, I was doing Prof, and we did Prof Outdoors 3, and leading up to that whole Prof Outdoors for like 9 weeks or something, I had recorded 9 songs or something, and I called them No Title, and I just was dropping them every Wednesday. And I was like, I just want to build up the anticipation because I felt like I was I was the opener, and I felt like I was the dude that was like, that nobody was like, I was the underdog. So I felt like in order to kind of like build up my hype and not just go out there and perform, I needed something for people to be excited for. So I wanted to give people 9 weeks of just new music. So for 9 weeks, every Wednesday, people were talking about Why Khaliq, Why Khaliq, Why Khaliq, Why Khaliq. And this is a time where like our local scene was like, I don't know, it was different. Like, it ain't how it is today. Like, it was just different. And like, I mean, like all of our like local publications was posting it. You know, the radios. I had ended up going and doing a radio interview with Go 95. When Makita dropped, and we talked about that, which is still one of my biggest songs to this day. But yeah, so I just really was like, yo, I'm gonna drop it, and build it up. So we did Prof, and then I started going into like my project mode, and I didn't want to keep just dropping content because I wanted to focus and direct my energy into my project. And then it's just a thing now where it's like it's just a part of me, you know, like. Mr. Why Wednesday. I got a YouTube vlog channel, so if people want to go check that out. I drop music on Wednesday, so it's like now I'm just trying to really build up. Like I did a whole month campaign where we did 4 weeks of Why Wednesday, and I got some more stuff I'm building up on. So I just want to make sure that people gain content. We in a time where I feel like we got a lot of time and a lot of time to really just focus on your craft and what you want to do. So that's how I'm trying to do it.
Yeah, I think that's what separates artists from entrepreneurs, like just wanting to be a music artist, but really like knowing the business side of it, is that you really need to do something different to make you stand out from everyone else that's just dropping music, and you're doing it right. What do you think of the Minnesota music scene right now compared to how it was, or I guess how long have you been making music first, and then how much has it changed since then?
Well, like I started in like officially like 2014. That's when like I really was like serious, and I started recording on like at least like a couple of times out the week, and then it gradually progressed. But I don't know, like I really can't say, because I feel like I'm a part of the music scene, but I'm kind of ducked off. Like, you know, like I feel like I'm kind of like secluded and stuff like that. Like, and at the same time, like, I also got life going on, so that I focus on my family too at the same time. But I feel like the scene is amazing at the same time, because I see a lot of young artists that's coming up, and they're hungry, and I see the grind, and I see the creativity that some artists are putting out. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, there's a few people who like I notice like that understand the idea of that, like the idea of like marketing and it being bigger than just like like music and just like putting out the music content. And I just feel like we just in a position where it's like we just need a pipeline, you know what I'm saying? Like, and once we get that pipeline and be able to open those doors, I feel like a lot of artists will be able to get those opportunities. Which at the same time, a lot of artists are getting those opportunities. They might not be getting the exposure and being talked about here in Minnesota, but we got a lot of people that's doing their things. Like homies like Bobby Raps, Frankie Bash, Simon, like all of them people that's producing. Like we got other people like Destiny Roberts. We got people like Lucian Parker. You know what I'm saying? We got people like Taylor J, Cashinova, Mac Irv. We got
the newest one I just became aware of was Alec Wigdahl. You ever heard of him?
No.
He's from, starts with an R. It's not Rochester. It's like Richfield, Minnesota. But he just signed to Internet Money Records. He's from Richfield. Like, there's a lot. They're just not like.
With Tip, that be with Tip.
Gravy.
You know what I'm saying? They're doing their thing. Like I'm doing my thing. My brother Zion doing his thing. We got, you know what I'm saying, Nucky, Juice Lord, all these different people. You know what I mean? But I feel like at the same time, it's just getting to a point that once those doors really open up for us, like we'll all get those opportunities, and we just all gotta understand that just stay in your lane, stay doing your thing, stay focused, because at the same time, like there's money for us and there's a lane for all of us to eat, and we ain't gotta step on nobody's toes. We got a bunch of people here. The Homey Plaza just dropped a new video that's crazy. Like there's so many people that like I don't want to. I feel like I can't name drop, because then I feel like I'm leaving people out.
Yeah, you're leaving people out because you can't stop.
I don't want to feel like I'm leaving people out at all, because it's like I really rock with a lot of people. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like I do feel like there's been a change in like the culture of the scene a little bit, like you know what I'm saying. It's
like, kind of even just like the social media age though. Like, there's like I feel like more people are. Obviously, I haven't been in like the Minnesota rap scene for as long as you. Obviously, I probably since maybe 2017. I would say I've been paying attention, or like 20, you know, like around that time. But even like when I first started, it was like mainly people got noticed because they were doing local shows. But now it's like you can get noticed by just dropping stuff on Instagram and you know, and the streaming platforms. It's kind of like just a new way of getting known versus having to do local shows. Yeah.
Because I feel like there was a time where like that was a real grind. Like that was a real like hustle. Like that was a real like you got to go to Fifth Element, do those open mics, like you know what I'm saying.
The Red Sea and
you had to do
all
the
small showcase events
to really like get people to know who you were and go face to face. You know what I'm saying? Like if you wasn't doing that, then it was like you wasn't a part of the scene. You know what I'm saying? But then at the same time, it comes to that point where it's like you do have to find that outlet that gets you bigger than here, because a lot of times people get pigeonholed, and like when you focus too much on like our scene, you get trapped in like Minnesota, and you don't think about the bigger picture. And there's a way bigger picture to where your music can translate to these people. And I try to tell that to these young artists, any artists I get coming into the studio, that like, man, when you think about making music, like think about it in a worldwide perspective. Sometimes some of these people ain't got to travel and ain't been from Minneapolis to St. Paul or from St. Paul to Minneapolis. So you can only imagine where their mindset is at, where it's like if you get a person who's been traveling just to touch and see other cultures and just see different things, like your mind opens up, and then you realize that your world is bigger than just our Twin Cities or Minnesota or wherever you're from in the world. So I feel like at that moment, me in that same point, I feel like a lot of us just got to realize that, and we got to realize that, like we have to grind and get our name and build our name up within the city, but then we also do have to think about how are we going to get people in other countries and other cities to know who we are. And that does come into now in the age of social media, where think about it, we can't go out and touch people, we can't go do shows. So what kind of presence do we have that's going to get people to have to want to buy into our music or into our brand? Because just the music ain't doing it no more. It ain't just posting a video or posting a song and like everybody likes that. People want to know if they like who you are as a person. They want to know, like, dude, what does Khaliq do on a daily basis or something? Like, do I like, you know what I'm saying? Like, do I like the person? And if you can get people to like who you are as a person, they're going to rock with the music. So as artists, I just feel like we got to focus on that too. So take a moment.
Yeah. Before we get too far, this video is sponsored by Northern Chill. Get his first sips.
Yes, sir.
The best water in the world.
And it's
alkaline. It's all natural alkaline water with a 7.8 pH level, born, or I haven't done this ad read in a long time. From a glacier created aquifer in Polar, Wisconsin. And it's only one ingredient, and it's natural mineral spring water, nothing added.
One ingredient.
Natural mineral spring water, straight from the source.
See, look, that's important. We're gonna get on a little health tip right now. If whenever y'all go shopping or y'all buying something, if it only has one ingredient, that means it's very good for you. If you look at all the stuff that got 20, 30 ingredients, that means it's not good for you.
Especially water.
Thermoxide and sulfoxide and sulfoxide and all that stuff is bad for you. So, yeah, I gotta take another sip on that note.
Out of all the years you've been doing music, what was the best business decision you've made to progress your name in the game, or, you know, just like maybe your skills, whatever you feel like the best decision you've made so far?
Just investing in myself. And I know that's a broad statement, but investing in myself comes with wins and losses. But I feel like the best decision I made was to go all in, because like if you don't go all in, then like you're always gonna be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You know what I mean? And it's like you're always gonna be on that border of like, should I do it? Should I not? Like, I feel like my best decision I made was jumping off the cliff and going all in. Like I know there was times like I sacrificed a lot of stuff, dog. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was sleeping in here for almost a year. You know what I'm saying? Where it was like it was by choice. At the same time, it wasn't like I couldn't get up off my ass and like go like work a job and go do everything I needed to get a crib and stuff. But at the same time, I was so focused on what I was trying to do that I felt like in that spare time, that's what I needed to do to get to the next point. And
it's like that picture of what Jeff Bezos in the Amazon office, where it's like a little box and it says Amazon on it. It's like he really invested his time into that right away. He didn't worry about, you know, what he had to do.
Exactly. And one thing I learned, that like when you're driven and you got goals, that like there's gonna be sacrifices. And I knew that like certain sacrifices I wouldn't be able to have. I wouldn't be able to have the nicest car, or a car if I wanted it. Sometimes I didn't have a car, you know, or I wouldn't have what I wanted because I was sacrificing that, because I was spending so much times where my homies would be going and doing this and doing that. You want to do that, and I'm like, I'm in the studio, bro, or whatever the case may be. And it's still like that to this day. Just my grind and my drive is way bigger than it was even then. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because now that I got 2 babies and stuff like that, so. But I'm in a better situation as far as like my living situation and whatnot. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we took care of that. But far as like just in that moment in time, it was just real important that I understood my sacrifices, and I feel like it got me to where I am today. And that's not for me to tell anybody to go do the same thing, but it's for me to tell people that, to understand that there is going to be sacrifices, and to understand that if you want something that you might not need to have what you want to have in that moment, you know what I'm saying? So that's all it's about. But I feel like that was my biggest decision that I made, was going all in. And still to this day, like, I make good decisions, I make bad decisions. I look back on it in hindsight, and hindsight's always 20/20. But it's about just keep trying, and it's about getting up, and it's about keep going. Because I could easily just be like, I'm done with it. I could easily be like, man, I spent too many years. Like, nah, I got a story to tell, and it's therapeutic for me to just release how I feel. So regardless of where I go, the whole point of me making music ain't just to be the biggest artist in the world, or just like, it's to actually express myself and tell my story. So if it takes me there, then we take that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What is 6'5" Records all about?
Man, 6'5" Records is really just a representation of just being from St. Paul, you know what I'm saying? But it's just our collective mind behind of what we do. At first we started off as free living, but then we ended up like switching it up and kind of just going to 6'5" Records. After I dropped the project, I decided 6'5", and yeah, so it's really just a name behind, you know what I'm saying, what we pushing and stuff like that. It ain't like the forefront, like we don't necessarily like push it as like a group or nothing like that. It's really just like the imprint behind everything, you know what I'm saying?
What's your favorite visual you've done? If someone were to leave this interview and look up a music video right now, which one should they check out?
I think still to this day, I still like my short film. And the reason why is because it was my first time acting, and I feel like that was a different element, especially at that time. I felt like it was cool for me to dive into that and to try that, and I feel like it was ahead of my time. Whereas when people get a chance to go back and look at it, they'll understand the story that I was trying to portray and what I was like trying to get off. I feel like it was very cinematic and very thought out for the time that and the resources that we had. Like, it wasn't like we was able to get this big production crew. That we had a nice production crew, the biggest production thing I've been on, but I'm saying like it wasn't like no movie production crew, and it wasn't like we had all this extra stuff. Like, we made work with what we had, but at the same time, it was just one of those things that I feel like it was dope to kind of like tell my story and like and put that out in visual form. But then other than that, I love Money and Celebrate. I love the vibe of that. I don't know all of them shit. Go check them out.
Do you have any crazy concert stories or anything that stands out from any shows you've ever done?
Man. I remember meeting Los backstage, and our conversation was kind of weird because like when he came backstage, I already knew who he was, and I'm a fan of his music, but at the same time, like, I kind of don't get starstruck. Like, I'm kind of not like the dude that like when somebody walk in the room like, oh, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I just kind of like feel like that's what everybody's used to, because I'm like an artist, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like I know how it kind of like is. If you kind of come in the room, you kind of sometimes just want to chill. You don't kind of want everybody in your face. So like, he had came in and he was chilling and talking, and eventually we had started talking. And the first thing he said to me, he looked at me, he was like, "You an artist, huh?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "I could tell." He was like, "I could just tell by your demeanor." And he was like, "But you real chill." And we just got to talking. And I just remember telling him I had a headache, and he was like, "Man, you need to get on an alkaline diet." He was like, "Man, you need to go on a week of fruit fast and just eat fruit and drink water." And he was like, "After that, tell me how your body feel." And he was like, "Man, all that headache and stuff gonna go out the window, bro." So I'm like, I never forget that, because I just remember that him telling me that, and that kind of just stuck in my head, like as I progress in my health journey. So it's like I just remember that instance, or like man, I done been to a lot of. I remember going to Somerset the first time where I didn't perform, and I just remember being there as like a fan, as an audience member, and it was just like one of those things where it was crazy, dude. Like, I've never seen so many people on drugs, up at all times of the night, just raging. I remember walking up on stage and Chance the Rapper was performing, and it was crazy. Like, I was like back. So like we had like snuck behind the stage and like walked up the back of the stage, and we was like standing behind them watching them perform, and just seeing them direct the crowd was just crazy. And then we had to go in the front, and we was like, you know where the media be, like at a festival, you know how you got the barricade for the fans and you got that little space where like the media can run up and down. So we was standing right there, and I just remember like being that close, and I was like, dude, this gonna be crazy. I'm gonna be here one day. Then the next year I opened up for Somerset, which was crazy. And then man, I probably can go on with just like, you know what I'm saying, stories. Like I remember being in the studio with Ab-Soul and Boss after they did the show at Fine Line years ago. I can't remember it. It was a minute ago, like years. Then let me see. Man, I done been at a lot of shows, man.
Oh, yeah.
Burner, I opened up for Burner, but I done opened up for a lot of people. But it's just like I don't know. I can't even tell you, dog. It's crazy.
Is there anything else you want to add?
Man, just make sure go check out my YouTube. Go watch any of my latest videos. We got 3 new videos up there. Go check out any of the old videos. Check out my Spotify, my Apple Music. You can get my music on SoundCloud, wherever you want to go look. You can find me at Khaliq, WHYKHALIQ. Real simple on all social media platforms. All you gotta do is type it in. You can go to my website, www.ykhaliq.com. I want to say thank you to Waterway TV for putting me on, having this opportunity to do this interview, man. You did. Coming into the studio. Welcome to mi casa. You did. Perfect. That water is like
Youngin' getting money out, make done a project. Smoking alleviate my problems from my baby mama. They know what type of time I'm on. I look like money, bitch can smell it in my pheromones. I'm making plays, I'm in the city, then I'm headed home. And niggas with no heart don't get to ride along. The more I started watching, the more options dog can get in dollars. Niggas out here lost.